water. He could still
away from him there, but manages to stay with it, saw where the tracer fire was, and identified the player. Now on 31 points, 7 players remaining. Wrigley, who we just saw, was in that top 3, directly above him. You have Lyrison, 2 above him, as Sicko does pick up B-Hegs, and Nefrox looks for the double edit. He has no more mats, so nothing doing with the launch pad.
Gosh.
Will he find another sick double from Nefrox? Can he make it a triple? He's looking. He needs to get back in the storm zone. He does. Shots coming out. Shots from the player above. Double edit. Loses it. Wrigley picks it up, but can Wrigley find the zone? He did get the siphon. He needs to circle back around, and he found it, but there's tons of natural building here. Spook, everything is for him. Has 6 builds, not a ton going on here, but has the high ground, and everyone moving over. HP advantage was to him. Wrigley caught every one of those pellets with his face, but a good individual effort pushes Spook up to 34 points. 70 limbs, victory royale.
Solid game for Spook right there, picking up a 17-point game. That's how fast you can go from the teens right up into the 30-point bracket, putting you in contention for top 5, making your way to New York City Finals. But man, Nefrox, he had crazy play there with the double edit down. I thought it was all over for a second there, but off to the next one here, guys.
Always.
Pleasant Park. A little action right here, Sundown.
Always on to the next one there. 45 minutes left in the queue. And remember, last time we checked out on the leaderboard, 38th was 2nd place. Clicks was in 1st, but had already previously qualified. 10th was 33rd. Donnie JJ was up on that list. He's currently sitting there in 37th. Has the rare heavy AR as well as the rare tac, single shadow bomb, and 3 minis with 199 effective HP. So not in a bad spot, particularly as he picks up Z-Laner there, going to try and push in and get whatever loot from that he can.
Yeah, it was a nice little pick right there, but a little hiccup right there as we kind of catch up here. He is going for the loot. It's going to be risky. He steps right next to Parallel Tree's box. Cannot step into those walls. That was clearly a mistake there.
And he got him with the flint. And one thing you notice there, as Trey poked out, it kind of messed him up because the flint pushed him into the corner of the box. He missed his first shot because of that. Might have been able to win the trade, but wasn't enough. Get kind of caught playing Loot Goblin there, but now Clicks pushing into the box. There's so many edits going on there, making sure he owned the ramp, flipped it back, pushed himself forward, and picks up the Elim. Brilliantly done there from the Misfits player. There's a reason he's double qualified, the first player out of NA to do so, and he's going to continue his run here as he kind of takes a second, boxes up, and tops off on shields.
Yeah, Clicks has definitely made a name for himself here in the competitive Fortnite scene. Just interesting to see what he'll be able to do now in New York City. He is kind of shown up, really taking the scene by storm, honestly.
I'm so excited for LAN. Like, I'm so absurdly excited. Not just because we get to see all of these players all in the same custom lobby for the entirety of the game, see what the contestants go out, but just, does somebody play different? Is somebody a little more hesitant? Is somebody more aggressive?
I think they do. I think some players are going to stick to their roots and push through, but that might be the downfall, man. These guys are just going to be waiting for something to pop off to, server collapse, if you want to call it that. This server collapsing is going to be disgusting at Fortnite World Cup.
I got faith, man, because don't forget, those Elims still worth the point, man.
Yeah,
still got to go out there. They'll be able to get it. Clicks picking up Trey there, who we saw earlier with a nice flintlock play, but not going to save you from Clicks as he pushes in with that epic combat shotgun. Pops his last shadow bomb and is going to get moving over onto the far side of the zone.
Love what he's doing, too. He's got so much material. He's playing for higher elevation right here. But with this many players alive, no layer is safe, especially not the lowest. In comes the drum gun pressure right there. Does see a player on the campfire, decides, hey, he's still got shield. Focuses on the next person. This is the problem with having a drum gun. Notice that was a little sloppy. Players are so exposed.
And also that first bloom shot, man, that was rough. He literally had the guy painted, and it was just like one of the scenes of the cartoons. We hit everything but him, and right there, Shababan Clicks hits every everything, including you. Trap shotgun right there. You have Exulting just below Clicks. The controller player duo of Excel's trying to put some pressure on him, but just gonna disengage. Grandma just below him. We've seen him on the leaderboards time and time again. Symphony also in his own box, but Bizzle is gonna smell him out there and send him back to the lobby. Well done from the week 1 qualifier, and the Ghost General, the highest earning Fortnite player in competitive history right now, is trying to make his mark on this lobby, sitting at 30 points, already qualified 2 boogies, heavy sniper, and the legendary combat.
Yep, and this is exactly where he likes to be, that end game. A little more placement threshold being broken into right there. Nice little edit, catches a clean elim on Nicole, who had the storm pressure. You notice that did crumble just a bit there.
And he's into the top 15 as well.
Right,
the player right on the side is looking for it. Slem was actually the one to pick that up. So Bizzle going to continue going forward. And this is where he loves to fight. I know Bala has been a big talk about it, but how good the Ghost guys are at tunneling and fighting from their tunnel, whether it's Sean or Bizzle or Demo or Snood, every single one of them can fight from these angles, and Bizzle trying to do it. No. But the ramp in his face, Boogie Bobs, Disco out in the open. Leo being the benefactor of that one. Kydra, honestly, just, I don't know if it was luck, benefactor, right time, right place, but Bizzle gets sent back. Grandma, however, picks up Leo right after, so we're on board with Shaded Talent on the ultimate low ground as Grandma picks up another one.
Yep, Grandma is in this game. You see him popping off in the feed. Shaded trying to get up higher. The higher he goes, the closer he gets to Grandma. Will he be able to connect right here? Does land a shot. It's Clicks who goes down. Beautiful trap, too. You put it on the ceiling. It's undodgeable, essentially. And that was how he caught Clicks off guard right there. Shaded Talent, now one step closer to high ground. He's going to step out into the storm and sacrifice just a bit more to get nice and secure set up in the top here.
And then he has the stinks to be able to rain him down. I don't know if he realized he's completely uncontested, but now AJ is forced right out in the storm. And with the tick over from the storm change, he's going to get it. He'd get it either way, but Shaded smelt it, he dealt it, and everyone else in the lobby had to deal with it. 4 elims and the victory royale, bumping him up to 33 points.
You would think we'd see more end games like that, where the stinks just flush out everyone in the low ground, but to hold on to something so valuable to the end, that's a tough play.
How rarely are you like getting into a top 3 situation where you have uncontested high ground and you have 2 stinks? Like, the reason that doesn't typically end up happening, you don't see that more often. You think like, oh, that's the best use case for a stink. Yes, if you get into that situation.
You got to make it there, and then like you got to hold on to him. So.
Right. But whereas if you, and we've talked about this, I know Courage is a big advocate, if you have 3 stinks in a solo and somebody's boxed up, you can effectively eliminate them, right? You can chase them around or at least force them to burn a ton of materials. So that's why you tend to see players opt to use them, because you can get kind of tags on players. Oh, Yak trying to go for the immediate wall replace, but you can see how there's a little bit of an issue when you get exposed. If the other player goes to shoot first, you know, they get that first shot on you as that happens right there. And Yak trades it back out with Bizbo. You can take the wall and own it all you want, but if you don't hit the shots, it doesn't matter.
That was 2 125s. Precision aim right there. Yak finds himself a ton of loot, materials, zone. He's got so much going for him now.
It was actually kind of a misplay by the other player. I think it was Bizbo. When you're kind of poking there, you need to shoot, and right as you shoot, move your character model over to the left. He just sat his character model in the window, basically framed his face to catch those pellets. Make sure you're abusing that right-hand advantage. If you have it, you can't give it up, or you can't have it and then not use it. Otherwise, you don't have an advantage. But now, the other half of the Dubs Mega pairing trying to push in here, has full qualified already for the solos and duos, and is now trying to put a little pressure on this player on the outside.
One step closer, he did take the wall. He doesn't even know it was his cone too. Did try to combat it, Flint follow up Frosted. It was just too fast. Mega was just too fast for him to react. He was one step ahead of him every single moment, in every single moment of that battle right there.
Man, it must feel awful to just get victimized by Mega and Dubs.
I would be so upset to go against one of these guys. They're too quick. Literally
they're
too quick.
just very, and we talk about like what makes some of these players good. In some circumstances, they do everything right. Sometimes they're just very good and they're fast. Like that would be what I say kind of Mega, Dubs, Benji, Fishy, Mr. Savage, well, they all have like certain types of traits about them, the certain things they do well.
Fast.
Yes, they're all incredibly fast-paced players with everything they do, and in and of themselves, that's almost their defining trait. The quickness at which they do everything. Beating somebody in Fortnite to the punch by a quarter of a second is enough for a shot. If you're doing that every single time, you're getting their wall every single time because you're that much faster, then you're going to be able to snowball those advantages, compound them into something better. That's why the best of the best are so consistent.
As we focus in on Mega here, let's see what he's going to do. We have praised him enough on how quick he is. He's at 14 eliminations. If you don't believe us by now, you're crazy. You don't get that high, that aggressive in finals. Guys, mind you, this is everything on the line for New York City, right? Potentially. And he just pushes through. Just goes all the way through, no hesitation. That's one. Someone else does join the battle here. Finds him as well. Quick little flick right there.
That was just gross.
16 elims.
He hit the flint knock headshot. I was honestly like, I half thought he was going to push in for the pickaxe. The flint knock will do the 180 if you get that full headshot there, but instead sticks with the combat and then picks up the nice little double. But now it needs to be careful of the 6. Good job getting up 2 blocks, and then luckily, as he pops the shadow, the shots miss towards the door. So, you know, sometimes you got to make your own luck. Mega catching it right there is going to put down the campfire as well as the 2 minis. If you blink, you might have missed it, but he's now in the center of his zone, boxed up, campfire one side, launch pad in the zone next to him, and now reloading all of his weapons, ready for the next rush.
Yeah, he did manage to drop the flint and pick up a grenade launcher. Interesting to see how that's going to play out here in this end game, because it's not typical you see someone have a grenade launcher towards these congested zones. But this is the perfect time to use all these shadow bombs, guys. Just keep him in the game and rotating. He is on someone's heels right here. As he was really trying to get that elim right there, chasing him all the way up.
And one thing that's super important to note there, notice how he didn't jump or double jump or wasn't sprinting. He was literally walking directly behind the player. Any of those other movement options would have given away, and the player would have known, would have had an opportunity to box him in, potentially trap him out. That's what we talk about when we say do all of the little things right. You might not think about it. You might think, oh, I get the double jump, I better use it. No, players adapt. They've gotten used to it. They know to look for the smoke trails, to just throw bullets towards it and to hope to get it. But Mega going one step farther, and he still has 2 more, enabling him so much. And here go the grenades. Will we see Mr. Savage 2.0, who is the best billiard player in NA? He fires all of them down low, and no ticks coming through yet.
But the pressure of the explodes, the sounds, it's as much of a mind game as it is the whole psych just to kind of connect here. So let's see what Mega's going to do. He's looking for the elims down low. He doesn't care about who's up above. He's trying to inch his way down here. Just taking a little bit more control of this layer. He doesn't have any movement, any freedom space here. He's going to find Dream TV.
Wait. That was a grenade tag. It had to have been. He hasn't shot anybody else in the last minute. So he had to have hit somebody with a grenade, gets flint knocked out into the zone there. But can he cover himself? 7 HP. Oh! Mega drops down. Winteroo, you can go back. It's the time of summer, and it's the time of phase. Mega, what a sick edit and sick play. Now up to 107 effective HP. Papa Eggy on the high ground. Hoffner gets personally victimized by Mega, like basically the rest of the entire lobby, up to 19 elims. But now on the low ground, Shadow Bomb comes out from Eggy. Hot feet for Mega, hot feet for Eggy, but he's in the shadow, and Mega finds him. He finds him because he jumped. Monster.
I don't know how he just did that, but he managed to really pull through and clutch up at the end. That was as close as we've ever seen it, and that was a 20 elimination game there.
30 points. 30 points for Mega. We saw him at 7 HP. Again, I cannot stress it enough. If you're watching and you want to get better at Fortnite,
imagine dropping a 20 bomb.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine dropping a 20 bomb in any game. Like, I think I've had a 20 bomb once, maybe, in a pub. I think, and I felt really, really, really happy. He's doing it in the finals against the best of the world. If you want to go watch these games, watch their perspectives. You can load it up in the client yourself. You can go to the leaderboard, set the region. Right now, we're on NA East. Then you can click the Compete tab at the top, load up Week 9, and check out all of the individual greatness, whether you want to be watching Tfue or Dubs or Mega or any of the other solo players who have already qualified. I promise you, they will all put on a show as we get into the final half hour of the queues, and already Chap, Tilpil, Snood, all up over on this side. Clicks in the match as well. Right as I said that, Tilpil gets taken out by, honestly, the Demon Hunter right now. That's what Clicks feels like. He's just running around cleaning up everyone.
Dude, Clicks is fearless right now. He's he has nothing to lose at this point. This is all good practice for the Fortnite World Cup. This Chap is now putting pressure on players that are gliding across, and what a death valley here. You do not want to have to cross this. You think, oh, I have a launch pad, I'm okay. No way, not when players have this much elevation kind of set up. This poor guy's probably going to use redeploy. He uses the flint knock, actually trying to save himself there. He's still in the game.
Was able to catch himself right there at the bottom. You see Kearney also here, Chap trying to get an angle on the rest of the lobby. Again, the Liquid Old Guard desperately trying to qualify and join Vivid on that stage in New York City. We have EG's J-Truth also in the lobby. Nobu Beef, it does get picked up. Bears also going down. 33 players remaining. Circle 6, and also a ton of verticality changes going on the circle. Look at the bottom right monster.
Yeah, it's going straight across another valley towards the tilted, or neo-tilted mountain. You guys are very familiar with this mountain. It's been in the game for a while here. So to have to cross back, another steep elevation coming from the Shifty side.
Yeah, the old that old clock tower mountain gives a really, really good kind of vantage point over the rest of Tilted, but it's really awkward to kind of end up fighting around and rotating over because it's such a steep valley into then this kind of like gradual hill that drops off right after. So yeah, we'll see some interesting rotations coming out, but now on board here with Joy with that tactical assault rifle, trying to throw some shots over. You do see Storm Surge over on your right-hand side. Only one more player has to fall before that turns off, and the rotation is coming through. So Joy is going to be looking for those gatekeeping opportunities. You see him checking the angles as Shiga picks up Sensible. Temp gets picked up by Joy. He's going to be like, all right, got my Elim, I'm out. Waiting for the opportunity to then rotate over and away. The question is, how long can he extend out the Shadow Bomb? Not long enough, gonna opt to use the second one. Does get the tick over in the storm as well onto Shiga, so good job from him.
Look at this.
And now, all the way far side of the zone.
Manages to really just hop his way up and over all the builds. Perfect usage of the Shadow Bombs here. He hasn't even reloaded the Tactor. He's already on the offensive push here. Another player did rotate by. He's kind of getting his eyes set on who's gonna be his next victim. Went from 1 eliminations to 3. Will this be the 4th? And it is going to be the 4th. Let's have fun, okay? We saw him a bunch yesterday, ending in the top 10. I think he finished about 6.
But doesn't look like he's having as much fun, okay, today, as J-Truth picks up another Elim. Grandma goes down outside of the top 15. Lucky also down, another player who qualified for duos, looking for a solo qualification. You have Snood, the second best average Sunday finisher in the entire world, but hasn't managed to get a qualification spot. 2 9th place finishes for him. Will this week be his week? You see Joy shots up towards the top ground, and he gets Prestovant with the drop down in the alley-oop afterward.
Yep, and here it is. Joy has now found himself 2 layers up and over these opponents here. He has to be very careful. He's looking to see if he can just disconnect this entire build, maybe get some fall damage.
Needs to look up, though. There was a rift that went off. This is not completely uncontested, and boom, there it is. He realizes there's the 3 players in the sky, wants to hold this high ground, so he's going to push over towards this other player, and he gets it away from him, except gets the high ground ripped away from him, and Joy immediately looks up and places the trap down.
Yeah, he did manage to pull that off. What is going on here? Click's still in the game. Baldy's still in the game as well. Click's pops the big old rift. He's getting this nice rotation. He sees the mountain up ahead. This is going to work out perfect for him as Joy is probably running low on mats. A lot of builds coming out of him, except going up. And Clicks just lands on the ramp, doesn't even care. No respect for Joy at all. Puts the double ramp off right there.
Just absolutely took it away from him. Clicks in the top right, Joy in the bottom right. That's the fight that's happening on the high ground. You have 2 separate 1v1s. Clicks versus Joy, except versus phase attacks. It attacks runs him over. Absolutely brilliantly done from him there after taking out J-Truth. Gets that there, so he has uncontested low, but with no mats to his name. So Clicks is just going to rain down on the lobby. Only 2 mats left on Joy, and a singular Shadow Bomb that is there as well. Everything is pointing to Clicks if he can get his way down. Attacks, goes forward onto Joy, and Joy finds it. He gets the siphon, but he's down on the HP lead as Clicks has the high ground, but is starting to run low on mats. Only has 12 left, but that's all it takes. The combat shotgun from nearly 6 tiles up. The hard aim down sights for Clicks. 3 elims, victory royale, locks it up with the 13 points. There's a reason he's qualified in duos, solos, and he's in first place. Well, right now, well done, Clicks. But the action doesn't stop. Again, 49 players left, nearly half of the lobby in this match, and we're on board here with Raised by King Steens. 25 minutes left.
Yeah, definitely was a crazy game right there for Clicks, but jumping into the next game, 25 minutes left on the cue. This is it. These are just the last moments. So if another 50.
Tilted. We talk about all of the natural structures and stuff that is already there. It's so incredibly difficult to move back through them. You can see Steens right now trying to pre-break up. Structure. Will Steens push forward for it? First edit, second edit. Players right there, phasing through the floor, and opts to disengage. No shot coming out yet. Oh, he found him. He owns that ramp.
Oh, that
should be free. Yeah.
Oh my, another 124. Guys, the combat has such a tight crosshair. These shots are just barely connecting at full range right there. That's insane. Such a tough shot to make in a close quarter like that. Beautiful flicks right here. Steens is in it to win it right now, and he is now replenished to max materials. Taking a look around the map now. You see, you have class in this game. Nuke's boss. Again, we see more boombo action here. Will we see some elims being picked up? Not as much as we saw before. That little change to the boombos made a big difference.
Yeah, I know a lot of people kind of scoffed at it at first, like, oh, like 0.25 seconds. That's not a big difference. When you look at small numbers like that in particular, I advise people to think in terms of percentages, right? So yeah, you think, oh, a quarter of a second, that's not that long of a time. But one, a quarter of a second is about the natural reaction speed for a human, and 2, that's a 25% increase. So all those like sick full draw flicks you saw before, you don't have the time to do that anymore. Because yes, the extra half second, you're like, oh, what is that? But if it's the reaction time for your average human being, I promise you, the competitive Fortnite player has a much faster reaction time than that. So all of a sudden, they hear any amount of that draw, or you don't get as quick of a release, it's not going to be as effective. Not to say it's not strong, but it's definitely slightly more significant than people thought at first.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Percentages are huge, and we talked about reaction speeds. Nuke's boss has picked up a 3-piece on his rotation and has managed to find
the tree!
So close, hits the tree as Nut walks right past him. He did do the last bit of damage, so rewarded.
Any cheat, we're gonna have to look at that maybe for teaming, because Nut in the tree, I mean, similar names going through the tree, holding up there, just make sure. But no, brilliantly done from Nut. Super unfortunate there that the tree happened to be there, but you know, sometimes luck's on your side and sometimes it's not, as we're on board here with Clarity G. Trying to find an angle, still has his baller as well as 2 shadow bombs, so a lot of utility coming out, has the heavy sniper as well, and you can see him just trying to find a spot to hang out with the baller so he won't get shot down. This is one thing about these baller rotations. The players try and hang out off the underside of builds so you won't take additional ammo. You still see about 5 of them trying to make their way up the side. Kazooie gets Boogie Bomb, but is going to be okay. And this rotation is nuts and stacked. Everyone trying to go up and over this hill. As you can see, Nistic, Tech, Twizbot, CWV, Nobu BFO, Prodigy Aces, Tendi, 2Chens, all going down to the storm. And Old Man Mountain, he is patient. He is calm, and he will claim his toll. The lobby goes from 30 to 18 in the blink of an eye.
Just over the mountain, a nightmare situation for these players that do not have mobility. And And it's crazy because not one friendly launch pad came down, so they all went down. Everyone paid the price there.
It's like you're looking for recycled utility. It's like, who's going to be the one to do it? Hey, but if nobody is recycling, nobody gets to go. And that was what we had talked about. We talked about how this hill can end up for an awkward rotation. And look at what it spawned as the players now have to rotate back through it. TJ on the high ground, 2 players ripped up into the rift. Casker in vain on the low ground. Top 15 remaining right now.
And somehow Clarity still managed to keep the ball with the no health. Literally all it needs is one shot here and it can be taken out. But with all the chaos, all the players, he's managing to just stay in it, just avoid all of these guys, avoid all this problematic.
Largely by doing this, you can see hanging out on the underside of the high grounds builds. He's not going to edit himself and look back down, but right as he does it, gets the build broken. That player isn't going to be looking to knock that ball away. He wants to find Elam's clarity, looks skyward, hits the heavy snipe, but no knocking down there. Kazui is still in this match. Did just pick up Chief. Vayne also still in the match on the low ground. Kazui going to drop off to catch himself and then swap right to the combat shotgun. Clarity picking up Kazui there as he continues to work downward. We're into the top 10 now.
Love it. He is looking to now take down this build here. It's not held up on much. And interesting, he had shadow bombs, but he waterfalled all the way down.
It's coming down now.
Someone is coming down. It's his high ground to keep if he can just hold it here.
There's no one there, though. It's fine. Top 5 and high ground now for Clarity all of a sudden. Still has 20 builds and the 2 shadow bombs.
Oh, man. It's going back up and over. Futat tries to land on him. Clarity gets shot. Is he going to be able to continue to keep it? Yes, he does. He keeps his high ground and trades a monstrous shot in return. Wraps him right up. Now it's all his once again, and he's...
He got the one shot. Casker, you lord. 5 elims, victory royale, 15 points there, pushing him up to 46. What a finish, my lord Casker. Courage, that was pretty sick.
It does not get much closer than that. Right down to the final moment. Hits the shot he needs to and wins the game. Folks, I'm back here on the stage with my good friend Dr. Lupo as we've been watching the NA action unfold. Now, Ben, we've also got a ticket to punch, but we'll get to that in a second. First, catch her to speed of what you've been looking out for.
NAE so far putting on an excellent show, and actually
coming up there.
One of the craziest things we've seen thus far up until right now is the standings have been kind of it's a new set of faces.
Yeah, this last week, everyone that's been fighting for those spots has risen through the ranks and is now in that top 10. The question is, who winds up?
Played through on Saturday to make it here, but right now, the top of the top of the top for NA East. Here's your standings. A quick refresh of everything we've seen. Like we just saw, Clicks, multiple games so far today. 3 victory royales, only 7. He still has 3 left. 66 points, and he's already qualified.
Yeah.
So you have to keep in mind, too, players like Clarity, Mega, even though all the way down to the bottom, Colorful, those players, if they end up in the top 6 for NA East, all you have to do is just adjust the list of who's going to qualify. So if you freeze it right here, this is one of the craziest things. As we head into the final week of solos, freeze it right here, every single player on this board would end up qualifying because you have 1st, 4th, and 5th pushes multiple positions down. It's insane. And that's consistency because then you have Clicks, Clarity, Mega, Colorful, all already in the top 10 right now as it stands right now. But like I said, still have games left to play.
Tough thing is Aspect already at 10 games played, won't be able to up that score anymore. We'll see if they can potentially hold on to their position. We know that that's a look at NA East. I believe we also have an update for Brazil.
The final standings for Brazil.
The final standings for Brazil.
There it is.
Node qualifies. Techno Viking in that 2nd spot. So close, but not enough in the end. You see the 9Z boys on there as well. Either way, Clipnode, the one qualifier from Brazil, which means we've got a ticket to punch. We've got a ticket to punch.
Jack,
the World Cup Finals. Ben, I know this is something that you've struggled with.
It's going to work. It has to work. At some point, it's going to work. All right.
Do it.
So, I've seen everybody else do it. It's just a little corner tap. I think that I've been hitting in the middle. I'm gonna try the corner, okay? Ready?
All right, good.
Man.
Ben. Let's throw it back to our casters. To the break.
Hey Fortnite fam, BallaTW here to get in the nitty-gritty of competitive Fortnite. The final circles in competitive Fortnite are packed tightly with both action and players, all fighting to get the victory royale. Let's introduce one of the most common techniques used to outlast your opponents in those congested final zones. What is tunneling? Also known as snaking or pathing, this is when you build a protected tunnel while running away from the storm and into the next safe zone. When these safe zones get so small, this becomes very, very important, as there can be opposing players on all sides of you. Here's an example of the most basic tunnel, the straight tunnel. From your base, you simply build straight towards your destination straight ahead of you, with the floor piece below your feet and above your head. This is the most basic and also dangerous version of the tunnel, since you're not covering horizontally. You're exposed from your sides. However, you save materials by doing this. The materials you spend covering your sides quickly add up. Then, if you need to go diagonally to get where you need to go, you'll often see players do the diagonal tunnel. At its most basic, it's very similar. You're just changing directions as you go, once left, once right. This is very useful since sometimes you'll encounter enemies that you want to get away from on the road to the victory royale, or the next safe zone is in a diagonal direction. So just change directions and move, but make sure to stay safe from the storm. Now we talked about how you're exposed from your sides. In both versions, you can add walls to either side, or both left and right, or even in front as well. This gets really hard really fast, and this is why it's so impressive that not only are these high-level players tunneling so fast and without error, but at the same time going for crazy plays on unsuspecting opponents to rack up elimination points as well as placement points. It's a lot to take in, and oftentimes they do things so fast that you can't even keep up. Watching players like Cease, Bizzle, Mongrel, Benji Fishy, and all the players playing in the Fortnite World Cup Online Open play from their tunnels can be jaw-dropping. So there you have it. Tunneling, one of the most important skills in competitive Fortnite. It's pretty simple at its core, but at the high pace of these congested endgames, it gets complicated. That means you need to practice, and make sure to hop in creative mode and do just that. You can practice it in the open on your own island, or use one of the many amazing pre-built training courses that creators have made. This was BallaTW, and we'll see you in game.
Qualified, it's actually such a relief, such a big achievement, and something I've been working for almost a year now. It feels really good.
I think it's one of my biggest accomplishments. It's just a massive, massive pool of people.
You need to be so incredibly proud of your son being one of the best, one of the best solo Fortnite players in the world.
It's still hitting me like slowly.
I was literally just laughing. Like I was laughing.
Kid, this is basically all you dream of.
The hype's really real.
It's a game I can compete in, and I think that's why I have so much fun in it.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness! What a play!
I'm incredibly grateful for Fortnite for giving me the opportunity to just pursue gaming, and how many friends I've made through this game.
Thank you for everyone who believed in me, because I honestly didn't really believe in myself.
It's gonna be so fun. I love it.
It's awesome. Thanks, Fortnite.